Good morning. It's Sunday. We've got a storm coming in. We've got poofy gray clouds. I have a snack. I have my water. I have my hot tea. And a hot glue gun, which we're not using right this minute. First, we're going to take care of what I left off with yesterday. If you were not here for yesterday, well, you were not here for yesterday. Okay, that's right. This ferrule is broken again. Goodness, what did I use that lasted so well? Not white glue. We have that. Oh, my microphone moved over. Come back. Hello. Okay. Can you hear me? All right, we're going to put all the leftover gold foil back in a gold foil bottle. And we're going to see what got left and what needs to be added to. Now, I used gold paint on this one. Apparently, the gold paint dried faster than I thought, and it did not grab onto much foil at all. This, I did a little bit better. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use some clear. Oh, come on now, tell me you're stuck. It might be one of those mornings, but we're not going to let it happen. We're just going to do a brush. Oh, wait a second. We got some that dried right down there at the bottom. That could be the culprit. Strange place. I've never seen that before. But this is an unusually thick acrylic medium. Come on. We can do better. I prefer not to get the stuff in a brush. It does wash out with soap, but it takes a bit more work than you think it's going to take. There we go. Now getting this out is another challenge. There. Look at me drying excess. We should be clear to go. Clear being the operative word here. This is pretty cool stuff. It's very thick. We're definitely not going to need all that. As we are removing it. Hey. I think in some cases the watercolor paper absorbed the moisture out of it so fast it became useless as an adhesive. All right, you should be ready soon. Let's go back to you, see how well you did. Now, a couple of these I already anticipated having to do some repairs. I have to do something about that left elbow. So let's see what we got left with. Okay, first we get the bigger pieces off. Now, I did not mean for that to go over the wick. Well, we will have to stick the wick back there. Do a little repair here. And the black acrylic. All right, put you over there. Let's see what we got here. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted. Better. Okay, minor repair. Are you kidding me? Oh, I could have gotten a little bit bigger. Let's broaden that. Get that pin back. Jessica! Oh, that sounds good. I just struck gold at that craft fair they had at the Holiday Inn. I got, for $2 each, I got calendula flowers and I got jasmine flowers. Little buds. I'm in heaven. I grew calendula, but I couldn't get a hold of jasmine. Unless I ordered like way more than I needed. And back then it was like, I can grow it. If I can't grow it, I don't need it. Well, I wasn't arrogant about it. There were some things you just can't grow down south. High humidity. No winter to speak of. People don't realize how necessary winter is to fertility of the crops. I have made a long list of things I gave away for gifts. When I was down in North Carolina, we were very limited for supplies. So that was our biggest challenge. So one year I learned how to make tassels. And the Walmart opened up and it had something that I'd missed in after leaving California, and that was a craft section or craft store place you can buy all your miniatures for making dollhouses and outfitting dollhouses. Where I used to get all my stuff for decorating inside of chicken eggs. I used to build little scenes in them. But it took at least 80 hours of work to do a little chicken egg. So I was not giving a lot of those away. I did my carved eggs one year. Everybody in the family got carved eggs. Special occasions I did make those very timely eggs. But most of the time I did wisecracks, which were painted on the outside and stuffed with stuff. But that was my business for a few years. But I've got a bunch of little wooden boxes, which now you can find at Michael's, the dollar store. I mean, just, the unpainted different things. So what I did with some of those was I painted the outside, I decorated the outside. We did cool little things on the outside, gold braid and cool things. Made them look cute. But then I also did the inside, and I finished them nicely. So I got felt and just cut a little bit of felt to go on the bottom of the inside of the wooden box and on the bottom. So it had a more professional feel to it and a little bit more, weightiness. And with a few of them, I made little scenes in the lid. So when you picked up the lid, it was almost like a little interactive thing. So I only made a few of those as special gifts for special people. Again, time, you've got the family's growing and you've got more and more added to your list until it gets to the point where we're just going to pick one person out of a hat because we've got too many people to cover and we're going broke. Oh yeah, easily. And that is a nice thing. YouTube is full of upscaling stuff, and there's even a couple of channels devoted to just the stuff that you can get from the dollar store. And I don't want to promote the dollar store, really, because they're one of those corporate entities that are aiming crap at poor people. So I don't want to really support them. But when it comes to doing your own gifts, you're saving a ton of money. You're utilizing something that's already been made. It's affordable, and everybody's going to love what you make for them. And unless you're making, well, even if you make somebody a gorgeous sweater, it's like, how many years are they going to wear that sweater? Maybe for the rest of their lives. Maybe they're going to get tired of it after a while. We all do. So we need to rethink how much effort and money and time. I really love the time thing. I love making things, obviously, but what else did I do? Oh, tassels. I made beautiful tassels, but I had to make my own beads and stuff. I had to do a bunch of my own, like paper mache. Super cheap, super easy. You just need a place where you can let it dry, because it does take a long time to dry before you can paint it and risk painting it. Otherwise it molds underneath. But paper mache, any crappy paper. A matter of fact, one of my favorite, I love this stuff. Tissue paper. I got a gift of a floor lamp, but it had no, just a bare bulb. That's it, right? And I couldn't, it's an old one, and I couldn't find anything at the store that fit properly. So I blew up a balloon and I used tissue paper and made paper mache. And then because of the heat of the bulb, I had to cut places for the heat to escape. But until it was done and ready to cut, I had it dangling by a string so it could dry. And it's really lightweight, and you don't have to do that many layers to get something sturdy. Of course, you make it more and do things like bowls. Oh, I saw a craft on YouTube that I saw it in real life at the fair yesterday. I think I might have said it. I don't know if you were here. There's one that where if you sew, you're lucky. I don't. A fork, like a square, but it's the way it's sewn. It makes a bowl cozy. And it's like, I I really actually meant to buy one of those. They were very reasonable, like $6 would have covered the size bowl I use. My breakfast bowl, I like to keep it hot while I'm eating my oatmeal or cream of wheat, which I happen to actually like. Um, the instructions are all here on YouTube. YouTube shows everything. So they've got devoted channels to Dollar Store, Dollar Tree. So it's always worth taking a look at them just for props. I mean, there's so much of that stuff that they make. It's like, I don't want that in my house. It's really crap. It looks cheap. And how much room do I have? I've got so little room in my apartment. I've got to be real careful about what I collect, you know? But yeah, you can make so many different things and so much fun. And I'm still, even though I'm using similar patterns to make multiple cards, I still have to make sure everyone is unique. So I get it if you want to make everything unique for your family and your friends, and then it's totally the artist in you. Put this back and cozy it onto little nails. Here we go. What else did I make? Oh, well, I lived on the farm and I grew a lot of stuff, but I also was canning. So every year something was homegrown and then turned into something I could share. So I really love and miss my dehydrator because it had 5 shelves in it, temperature control fans. I mean, the whole thing was a nice unit, really easy to manage. Frustrated my cats no end when they tried to get at the beef jerky I made in it. But I made a yogurt and a sweetened shredded coconut candy. It was mind-blowingly good for only having 2 ingredients and virtually no work, really. You would just use plastic wrap to cover your tray, which you can also do in an oven if you wanted, and it's really low temperature. It takes, I don't know, about 10 hours. I used to just leave it overnight. You mix 1 cup of fruit yogurt, your flavor choice, and then mix it with an equal amount of shredded coconut. And then mix it up real well, spread it out, and let it dry. It's unbelievably delicious. And it cracks. I mean, you want to do it's kind of cracked, but when you chew it, it's like taffy or toffee. It's just bizarrely good and bizarrely simple. And my family flipped out over that stuff. I could not keep up with the requests. And the ex-husband, oh, he loved anything blueberry, so I used to make, at least once a week, I made him some blueberry stuff that he could take for a snack at work. Blueberry yogurt and coconut. Yes, yes, isn't that awesome? I love origami. I think it's called kirigami when you use your scissors or your knife, and it's paper cutting in addition to paper folding. So many wonderful, unique ideas. Do you remember a craft? It was kind of like in the same time quilling became more mainstream. It was getting, like, pick out a greeting card that you really, really like and buy 3 copies of it, and you would cut out different elements and put them in a 1-inch deep frame to create a scene that looks more 3-dimensional. They really did come out beautifully. Some people did more than 4 cards. Obviously, the deeper, but also the more expensive. Hallmark cards made gorgeous cards, but they were not cheap, even back in the 80s when I was buying them every week. Well, different golds for sure. We got the really shiny Chinese gold, and then we got the crapped up American gold. It's not crapped up, it's just, you know, way different. Yep, I should not mix my golds on the same card because it's really obviously different. I love those bowl cozies. I really want to get one. She crochets hers. The ones I saw were, well, they were sewn for sure. They'd used the same kind of, matter of fact, this woman used a bunch of fabrics that I've had for years because back in the old days, I used to just, I don't sew, but I do glue and double-sided tape. I used to make curtains all the time for my kitchen, and I had weird, you know, when you live in a single wide, the windows are a little weird. So I wove a bathroom one. But the fabrics I changed every year. Also because I was a card reader and I would have to spend all day at my table. I had a card size table and I was able to just like with 1 yard of fabric, you know, fix up the ends so they don't unravel, and I would have a fresh, cool looking tablecloth, which was important because I did video readings, and your background and your, you know, your table matters. So I liked things to be really pretty, and yeah, I don't have to worry about that anymore. But yeah, if you can dehydrate, there are so many different things. Yesterday, now I don't do this anymore because I'd rather eat the oranges than turn them into ornaments. But do you remember the fad of drying fruit, fir trees, just dangling dried fruit, or turning them into, God, you know what used to really sell? And it blew my mind, but when we used to do fairs, I mean, we did every week we had a, like the Monrovia Street Fair, which really the farmers market and street fair. So it was the farmers market that was the hub. But then they had, you know, over 2 blocks of, well, around the holidays, we would have them 4 deep tents. You'd have the tents up on the curb and then back-to-back tents right down the middle of the street. So we had a lot of selection, a lot of vendors. And some of those people did some of the other festivals that we did. There was another regular one once a month. This woman made, and I know what she did, she bought grapevine bases that were made in China. Just, you know, all kinds of like swags. I don't know what they're even called, but they're full of dead, dried flowers and sometimes fake flowers. And she would just do these wall hangings, you know, that people put over the mantle or hang on the kitchen or hang on their front door. They were some like wreaths, some were those long things, or she sold out all the damn time, and they were not inexpensive. They were beautiful. They were definitely beautiful. But as a crafter, I know that once she got into it, and when you have your vases full of the stuff you're going to use, bam, 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 you know, it comes together pretty fast. And her secret was the glue gun. And they don't last because they're dried and they start to fall apart and they collect dust and you cannot clean them. So she just sold the same people over and over, as well as new customers, because every season they would want a new one. That woman made a great living. Oh yeah, the seashells. Yeah, they're harder to find now. Remember all the sea glass? Nobody wanted the glass except a few of us weirdos that would pick it up. And now you have to make your own sea glass, basically. Break a bottle, bring it down to the beach, bury it where it's gonna get, you know, well, you don't want people walking on it, obviously. And if you don't have a private beach or a place that you know you are going to return to, it's not really a wise thing to do, but that people are making fresh sea glass intentionally already. I was amazed and this is how connected we are. One of the things I invented in my first book turned out to be something that really was starting to go on in the San Francisco Bay Area, or Carmel. Glass blowers were making these beautiful glass spheres and setting them adrift. But they can only go so far before they break or fill with water and end up on the bottom and then break. Because you can't make a glass sphere without popping a little hole in it, or when it's cooling down, it implodes. So I know because I watched one, I've got one hanging behind me that was for the second story. No, actually the first story, but also the second story. So I call them wishing balls in my book because they're on gazebo where they're blown and they're filled with dreams and wishes and all this other stuff, and then they are set out. But they shatter when they hit the, some of them get through weirdly enough, but most of them shatter when they hit the energy field that surrounds gazebo. So those little particles of brightly colored glass eventually end up on the mainland beaches of Nomaris out in one area. And it's always sparkly, and nobody has a clue because they don't do that in that area of the mainland. So nobody knows where this glass is coming from because up until then the island is invisible because of that shield, so nobody even knows gazebo exists. Which is why it's so much fun, because you can develop different stories. Still, oh, that's wonderful. Oh, Rhode Island. I think that's one of the places, well, there are actual glass blowers doing stuff like that. It doesn't, if there's going to be an area where you know you're going to get, and Rhode Island has some rough rocks, you know, that stuff, it doesn't take that long to polish in the sand. I know people who want to do that can get a tumbler, and you can use any glass broken down with the right sand, right grit, and they get them all polished and cool looking. I mean, that's why you can buy sea glass at Walmart in bags, and the dollar store too. Oh, remember the glass drops? That was an accidental thing that turned into a multi-million-dollar industry. I love it. I love it. There is something so romantic about it. And I don't know why it affects us like that, but yeah, lots of us like to collect it. I think somewhere I've got a couple pieces, but again, you can't own every shell in the sea. You can't own everything beautiful you see. So I have things I love around me, and they're beautiful, and definitely content in that area. So does she must do wire wrapping. That's something I have not done. I was going to say, I had a piece of stone, a bloodstone, which is one of my birthstones, and I did try making it so I could wear it. Well, that was a pain. And it did not come out the way I hoped, so. All right. No, you have to dry still a little more. How are you doing? Well, I think we're going to leave that one right there. They're about the same size. It's enough. All right. It is a postcard. God only knows what it's going to look like when it gets to its destination. Oh. I love that. Some stuff is so precious that even though they were gathered while I was married to the second ex, I kept them. It doesn't remind me of him. It just reminds me of a beautiful moment. Go over there. All right, how are you doing? I love upcycling, but I don't really have very much left anymore to upcycle because I've been so careful with my buying since my journey started. How did that end up there? Well, it looks like we have to doctor you out. Let's get that. I'm just going to try and be consistent with the kind of gold I'm using. Yep, I see you. Come here. Come on. Oh, don't get stuck to the glass. There. Oh, how wonderful. I met a delightful spiritual kindred at the show who does, she collects gorgeous beads and makes stuff that hangs, like the finials I did for my eggs. And honestly, if I had some extras change, I would have purchased one. They were only $12 each, and every one of them had a very impressive little piece of, like a glass bead turned into a marine animal. But they were so tiny and so precise. They were Murano glass level. Beautiful. Little crab, a little lobster, a little whale, an octopus was amazing. Multiple colors. They were just gorgeous beads. But I have thousands and thousands of beads from my egg industry. So I just could not get myself to spend money on something I would always regret it. It's like, you have all these gorgeous beads. Why don't you just make your own if you have to have that? $12 is a little much right now. I need a fanny pack. Actually, I hate things without pockets. I really hate things without pockets. It's so unfair that they make women's clothing without pockets. Now, this was not something I purchased myself. It was a gift. And it is a gigantic, it's like a dress. It goes down to the top of my knees. It's so long and it's so big and there's no pockets. So I'm like looking around like, well, I don't really want a belt because I don't need to feel belted in, but I need pockets. And again, I don't sew, or I would just go ahead and wait a second. No, it would have to be a fabric that would move with this fabric. I'll keep my eye out because I can do a basting stitch. Oh yeah, they make them like for show. Oh yeah, this has pockets. I said, so what can I fit in it? 2 quarters and a dime? Useless. And you would think they would know about this. When women are famous for carrying purses, we carry shit. We like to carry shit. I have never did a gig without having a complete first aid kit and emergency stuff in my bag to cover the whole group. Like, you need a Band-Aid, you need chloroseptic, anything you needed. Blow dryer, because between sets we got pretty sweaty. You know, not every night, but I've had my makeup run down my face. But yeah, we should have an invention. Well, the fanny pack was kind of like that, right? That was your portable pocket because nobody had the foresight to give you what you needed. I'm going to probably need the pliers to get that back out. There we go. Oh. Yeah, but you're drying quickly, so let's cover you up. Stuff is so tricky, but good. Well, I do have aprons. As a matter of fact, I won one in bingo. Check it out. Here's my bingo apron. Well, here's my normal apron. of course, covered in paint. I wear it around, but people, if they don't realize I'm painting, they think I'm just not clean. I got this, I don't know, it's kind of a Hello Bunny. I don't know what that is, but it does actually have a couple of little pockets. But I've never seen such a lightweight fabric. So it's supposedly, I guess, washable. Pockets or pockets that are big enough. Yes, exactly. When I was in 7th grade and they discovered my back issues, they forbade me from carrying my school books or a purse, which was probably one of the most embarrassing things you could do to a teenage girl. Yeah, it is cute, right? But I mean, it's never anything I would have purchased for myself. I don't go for imagery too much. I like patterns, but images, I don't know, just so commercial. It bothers me. Yeah, so the thing is, who are doing the design? But there's plenty of women designers, but the majority have been men. And like, there's kind of always, I've never liked a single thing he's done. I don't think Halston. He makes all women look like boys. I just don't see anything flattering. He had a dress that looked like a slip. Matter of fact, a lot of them, they just like underwear. What is wrong with you? He must have been one of those perverts. I mean, a lot of sex trafficking happens in the fashion industry. Now, look at some of the people running the fashion industry. They're not healthy people. But if I had all the money in the world, or a few million, there is one artist I would go to. Iris Van Helpern, I think it is. My goodness. I have never been into fashion design, really. I wanted to design my own clothes to disguise my scoliosis and make things that are nice and free and loose, but with pockets. This woman, I could just sit there and watch her shows because her shows are mind-blowing, especially if you go behind the scenes and see how her costumes, because they're really costumes, are built. The team of people, and she shows her team. She gives everybody credit, which is something I don't see a lot of men doing. So I would definitely go to her and say, hey, I want to be beautiful. No, I need something that's going to work with my body, move with my body, and I want something that expresses my bizarre personality and yet still looks pretty and feminine. No, but she's so imaginative and she works with the elements. She did an air and water and oh my goodness, you gotta look her up. Let me see, wait a second. I don't want to lose the chat. They are on YouTube. Come here, YouTube. Let's see. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay. I don't want to disconnect from the chat, but I will have to. And thank you, whoever was that you that left a thumbs up for me. I appreciate that. Where is the little? There we go. Okay. What was I just saying? That's what I'm looking up. Iris Van Herpen. That's it. She's a Dutch artist. Hold on. I'll give you a link for her. Her stuff is absolutely freaking bizarre, beautiful. Oh, there's a new one I haven't seen yet. And some of this stuff does get turned into real clothing. Matter of fact, I don't know, do you have Netflix? I'm totally in love with the Wednesday series. And the person who played the principal, Principal Weems, she is one of the models. She went to some show wearing one of Iris's creations, and I recognized it immediately because I had seen that show. It was so beautiful. Let me just copy that link, close that one down, come back. Where are we? Hold on. I gotta come back to my own channel. Hello. View channel. Go to where we are now. Here we go. Paste. Amazing. She's just amazing. I'm so impressed by her artistry. She's not just about cloth, you know, she's about getting the emotion, the feel, the connection with nature, all of that expressed through these fantastical costumes. But then when they do the shoot, they do a video of her shows. You got to see some of these videos. It's like, whoa. She actually did a shoot when people were diving out of an airplane. She was getting them from underneath, shooting them as they were falling to get her creations filled with air. It's like, you are the bravest models in the world. But yeah, you and your partner might enjoy just sitting back and watching a couple of those because they are very inspiring. After watching her stuff, it made me want to play even harder at my table. It's like, what else can I make? How can I do this? Oh, it's like, you know about Toblerina, the character I created out of my left big toe? I was getting ready to do the next calendar, and then I forget what came up. I think I got sick or something, and it took me out of sync, and I could not get back into the timing to get 12 backgrounds done. But one of them that I was working on was for Pride Month. I remembered the toe thing. I was building a drag costume for my toe, which currently is on the little, I made a little plaster stub the size of my toe, approximate, so that I would know how big to make the costumes. So if I can't fit the costume on that little clay plug, then, so to be funny, I stuck some fake eyelashes on it and Google eyes, but it's just so I've made her the body so far is working up. She's got a drag queen, and I was working on this huge rainbow headdress. Actually, the headdress was so heavy that I had to do a piece of cardboard, and I made her blue hair, but like in a big fan. So my idea was to use some tiny seed beads in all the colors of the rainbow to make her well, hair / headdress really impressive and clearly, you know, the flag. But I've got all her stuff, but she's not out right now. My feet have gone through a few changes since my health took a little downturn. But when it's time, I'm looking forward to doing another calendar. It will not be on Zazzle this time. They were way too expensive. I don't think anybody should have to pay $25 for a calendar this big. I bought my own so I would have an example of all the paintings and collages I did and all the costumes I did. But I would love to do that again. It's the only reason I even got foot soaks. I've never done anything specifically pampering about my feet unless somebody else was massaging them. But then when Toblerina came into being, I needed to make sure everything was really moisturized and, you know, I actually got foot soaks, which surprised me. Oh yeah. Where did I put her? I've got a couple boxes full of stuff that I made for her. Her hair, wigs, glasses. Um, I know I would never lose her. Oh, here she is. Now, when it's time to work on the costume further, when it's time to take it off, I just have to cut this little thing in the back. But there's her, the beginning of her gown. And the headdress thing is packed with some of the supplies. At the time I was working on it, I could not find every color in the rainbow in seed beads, and I have a lot of seed beads, but it turned out my bags of seed beads were mostly like pastel colors, and I had nothing bright and definitive, and I had zero yellow and orange. It was all like blues and pinks and greens. It's like, no. So this is just the base coat. When I wanted to make sure I got all the, and this is paper mache. So I did, before I sealed it in the back, I measured it on my toe to make sure it was the right size. So it turns out that I cannot have a dress or a gown that's higher than 1 inch tall and 3 inches around. Who knew 3 inches to go around a big toe? That's not very big, but yeah, so it's 1 by 3. So I learned this when working on this. I got a bead loom so that I could weave embroidery thread, because I can weave embroidery thread on anything, and I was doing it on cardboard. But you know, when you want that many, you want the stitches really close together, you can't use a standard loom. You need something that's really, really tiny. So I started doing this, and I went way too far, which is fine because I was really not doing a good job of it. I was trying to do something that I could bead to make more extravagant looking, and that didn't pan out. I didn't like what I was doing. Oh, there's some pale yellow. So what I must have been missing the brighter, like, orange. Yeah, I don't have every color in the rainbow, so when I'm ready to finish the headdress, I will have to go shopping for sure. And I would love to, next time, try beading directly into the weaving instead of sewing it on afterward. Because sewing it on is, you see, I was trying all different things. It's hard to be, well, it's hard to make it come out the way you want. I have to really practice that. Like I said, sewing is not my strong suit. But I do love miniatures. I never ever dreamed I was going to get involved with miniature anything other than writing. My nearsightedness was so severe that I could write you a whole letter on the back of a postage stamp and it would be legible. I would use a crow quill. Very, very tiny. I once wrote a whole letter to a friend. Well, you know, if you buy a lot of wooden unpainted things, you might come across them. There were these little tubes. It's like, what the hell is going to fit in a tube this small? But they were perfect. It was like a little hollow tube with a cap that popped off. I was so impressed by it that I bought one, painted it, and then made a little scroll, cut toothpicks for the top and bottom of the scroll, and wrote her a whole letter, rolled it up, stuck it in that little teeny thing, and mailed it to her, and it blew her mind. It wouldn't surprise me if she still had it. So that's the kind of crazy stuff I like to do. Like I saved this one because you know what that is. I mean, it's an eggshell. It is a jumbo egg shell, but it's also obviously that chicken had a hard time. It stayed soft for a long time when she was pushing this out. And because of the erratic deposit of the calcium, it would never be carvable. But I saved it just because it's weird, and I thought, what could I do with this? We'll have to think about it. One of the art pieces I did for a friend of mine in New York City was egg on egg. I did a mosaic made of eggshells on top of an egg. And it was about the fragmented self. So he liked that. Oh, that is true, Jess. That is true. The same thing with weaving. Um, in India, when they're making carpets, they intentionally have a flaw. I mean, it may be looking perfect, but they have to add a flaw because only God is perfect, right? So I find that a very convenient excuse to allow a screw up to remain. You're not going to take the whole damn thing apart to fix one thing after an entire village built the loom and all that. In fact, in some villages, they burn the loom after the carpet is done. It's like one carpet, one loom, holy experience, and that's that. Now, since I don't sew, I've had to be very creative over the years. I mean, I can do a hem stitch, I can do a baseball stitch, I can do a couple of things, a basting stitch, but I'm so bad with the thread. I'm the knot queen. Although I did get a little better when I started running it through a plug of beeswax. That really did help with some sewing. Well, that is not really impressive, is it? Oh, that's a little better. All right. That's enough for you. We'll call that one done. And we'll call, oh, that one done. So what kind of things do you like to sew the most? My stepmom was a master at it. She used to love making these cute little jackets for the dogs for winter. They were bull terriers, you know, really thin hair. They did not like the cold. I was thinking, I really was considering, strongly considering getting one of the knitting machines, which is really a crochet machine they call knitting. And I watched a bunch of videos and decided, where the hell am I gonna put this? I really would love one, but I will have to get my fabric Jones out on my loom. I'll just have to, I've got the simple looms, nothing fancy. You know, just holes, slots. I don't have a shuttle. I have to make that myself. I made a shuttle. I made a bunch of things. I made a loom that you wrap around. It's a portable loom, so you can go out in the woods and you wrap it one end around a tree and one around your waist, and when you're done and you're getting ready to move on, you just untie it and roll it up. And I loved that, except that when I was doing that, my weaving was spread across the living room, which meant I had to deal with dogs and a husband wanting to go by. And every time they wanted to go by, I had to get up at my chair, go to the other chair where it was tied, and let them by. So, yeah, hobby interruptus. All right, are we done with the gold for the moment? I think we are. Good. All right. These are the family members that I'm never going to see again, or it's unlikely. Oh, what we do need is some... Oh, that's really weird. I can't get it to come off now, but it's turning. Let's see if I can solid that up a little. Hey, stay. Yeah, it's not going to work. It doesn't work for underwater surfaces. I think it won't last in the jar of water. So let's try this. Oh, that's right. You aren't working. We gotta do it the hard way. This whole thing could use some of that. And breaking the paint off. I've had this brush since 1985. It was apparently worth every penny I paid for it. A Robert Simmons brush. I wonder if he's, well, I don't think he's around anymore, but I wonder if the business is still even happening. There, make a nice lump. It stays where you put it pretty much because it's 3D, but I could destroy this brush if I don't get all that stuff out. So, oh, how cool is that? Oh. Oh, well, that's wonderful. What a friend. I don't think of anything, do I? No, huh? Well, that's not unusual. It's just that I won't let go of brushes that are still usable or any art supply that I think I will eventually need. That's what I've had since 1985, mostly just art supplies. I've been using them up though. I actually had to buy watercolors for the first time in 20 years. So I've got new tubes of watercolors, but I had so much of Winsor and Newton, high quality stuff. I didn't worry about it. It's like I'm never going to run out of this. Like Diox Purple was very hard to get for a while and expensive and kind of inconsistent. But I let one of my reps know, hey, I would love to have some of this, but it's only available in a pan set. I don't want to buy a whole pan set. I use tubes, and it's not available in a tube. I had 2 different people, including one in England, send me pans of Diox Purple. So what's really funny now is they found a way to work with it, and now I can get it in a tube. But back in the 80s, you couldn't. So, and after I ended up with extra, I really didn't like it that much. It was almost like, I don't know, like black had been added to it or something. It just wasn't the rich purple I was hoping it was. And it looked fabulous on the color chart, but then when I was using it, it just didn't seem to have that luster, I guess. Oh my God, Cabbage Patches. Oh, that's very cool. Egg coddlers. I haven't seen those since my grandma. My nanny used to do these soft-boiled eggs, which was never my thing. Hard-boiled or over easy. Wet white was just... But that's so cool. I wish I'd gotten something of my grandmother like that, but I didn't want to take anything because my grandpa was still alive, and I didn't want to disrupt anything in the household because you know how people can become vultures, and I didn't want my papa to feel like things were changing too fast for him. But my grandma gifted me that crystal ball from the middle of her centerpiece right after her funeral. So when my uncles were asking me if I wanted anything before I went back to California, I said, well, I know this is going to be weird. I'll wait until Papa goes, but I want that ball because I used to hold on to it and clean it when Grandma cleaned. You know, it was a childhood thing. Well, while I'm saying that, the ball dropped right onto the table in front of us, and both uncles just looked at that and looked at me and said, well, I guess she wants you to have it. And they handed it to me, and I've got it hanging up behind me. You never use them. Well, when you look at them, you have good memories, right? So that's a use. All right, I have to come up with something for Gloria. Gloria, my little friend. So right now I've only been working on holiday stuff, and she's gonna get plenty of that. I need something that is cuter. What can I do? Her favorite things are butterflies, and I'm so sick of butterflies. I have a big card with a bunch of butterflies on it for her. But it's winter, and I'm not in the mood for butterflies. Yep. Well, look at that. I still have a brown hair left. They're not all silver or blue. Yeah, I don't like them either. I haven't even been able to get myself to eat a poached egg because the threat of the white being runny, it turns me off so much. I was thrilled to find that you can make a hard-boiled egg in an air fryer. No water, other than cooling it down and breaking it open. So I have the recipe to hard-boil your eggs in your air fryer, whether they're on the counter, room temperature, or straight out of the fridge. The difference is 2 minutes. And I made the first couple, and then I said, all right, I can reduce the heat by 1 minute, and I think they'll be absolutely perfect. And they were. No green spots, you know, no gray. Perfectly done. It's like, this is the only way I'm doing hard-boiled eggs anymore. They're going to be hard-fried eggs. All right. Okay, so that is tiny. Well, it's almost officially, it'll be officially December by the time she gets this, so I guess we can go ahead and do a, I'm going to do a cat. And oh, do you have an air fryer? Oh, I get that. Perfect time of day, right? Just when it's supposed to be lunchtime. Hold on a second. Here it is. All right. Hard-boiled eggs. Preheat your air fryer to 275. 1 minute preheat. If you have room temperature eggs, it's 12 minutes at 275. Or if it's refrigerator cold, it is between 14 and 15 minutes, depending on how hard. I think I wrote down 15 and then changed it to 14, straight from the fridge. Now that's for 3 eggs. So you might want to give that a shot. And of course it's backward. Is that backward too? Turn on a bright light. I think the dimming light adds to that. Nod time. The bio clock, you know? Where's a little ground? Oh, we'll try you. No water. No, no, no. Straight in the air fryer. No water. When you take them out, you drop them into ice water or cold water, and almost immediately start cracking them and opening them up underneath some cold water. Done. Because, you know, who likes a hot, hard-boiled egg? But if you hit it with the cold water right away, it'll help the whole thing peel faster. Yeah, I was ready to disbelieve it when I found that, but I tried it. I thought it was worth a couple eggs to give it a shot, and it was. Now I keep those freezer bags in the freezer, like, you know, for first aid. So that's how I accumulated them, I think. When I was getting injections in my back, they would give me, you know, a cold pad to put on things. And I collected them and I keep them in the freezer. So when I wanted cold water for my eggs, I took a couple of them out and put them in a big bowl and threw in some cold water, and, you know, as good as ice without having to make ice cubes. Me too. I wasn't all that crazy about making it until I realized I had a really great shortcut. See, I love pickles in my egg salad and tuna salad and chicken salad. So I started using tartar sauce instead of mayo or sour cream. It's already got a bunch of stuff in it that I'm going to want to add anyway. So it's like, well, this is not bad. It's like, especially if you're in a rush and you don't have time to chop a bunch of things up, that works good. Or, well, I always forget my grammar when it comes to that. Yeah, I love that air fryer. When I got my first air fryer, I was so enchanted by it that I said, if the air fryer was a man, I would marry it. Now this is an appliance worth talking about. Oh, no, 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 don't get it sloppy with your... My goodness. Now I gotta take you out. You silly cat. So we're gonna dress you up. Have some more pink up here. Fix that little nosy. Gotta let it dry before I do the marker. There's my 01, 2, 01. I have been trying to wear these out and I've not been doing a good job. I have not done that. I don't use bacon very much. I went years without it, but recently, with everything going on with the food market, I decided to freeze a couple of pounds so I can use a slice of bacon for flavoring things, like when I make a pea soup or something. Because I'm collecting all the fats. It's really hard to get oil when things get tight. So I've stocked as best as I can. My last order of olive oil didn't come through, so I'll be looking for that. I'm waiting for the 3rd before I do any shopping, though. I'm part of the buyer blackout right now. I am so pleased it's working. I looked at online, and there are people in Walmart on Black Friday saying there is nobody here. Somebody at Home Depot, I don't know what time of day, but nobody there. It's like, all right, some people are getting it. Because everyone I've spoken to had no clue about the blackout because of, for obvious reasons, mainstream media is not talking about it very much or at all. Is it? Oh, I love the smell of bacon. And I grew up without bacon because it was forbidden. But I have to say, the first time I tried it, I think I was 10 years old. I was ready to change religions. It's like, this is bacon? Why can't we have bacon? This is amazing. Of course, it's not good for you in general, and I don't really like killing pigs, but I am guilty of the occasional slaughter because I do occasionally eat pork. Like right now is the time to buy a bunch of this, well, like the summer cuts, things that people throw on the grill. They're cheaper right now because everybody was focusing on the holiday stuff, the big ham or the turkey. So chicken prices went down a little bit, and other cuts of the ham went down a bit. So I got a package of spare ribs, like country style, because I know I can just boil one and then put it in the air fryer with some glaze on it, and I've got a really good meal. Oh, that is the time I always order. When we go out to breakfast, yes, bacon's on my plate for sure. That's treat time, man. You're eating out. You gotta make it good. Hey. Bigger eyes. Not one of my better cats, but it's all right. Again, I should have this like where I'm doing these in my sleep. We don't need that brush. We need a different brush. Oh no, we'll use that. Oh, don't tell me you're plugged too. You're becoming a real pain in the butt. A friend and I went out to breakfast, I don't know, a few weeks ago. I forget why. We never just go to breakfast. It's usually I treat in return for being taken to a store or something like that. Yeah, yeah. And if I had a bigger freezer, I'd be putting up a lot of food because I know how to do it. And I enjoy doing it. I don't have room. This is frustrating to me because I can be a cooking demon and there's just no place to put it. So now one thing I'm really pleased to have learned this year, and I guess I knew it, but because I've been by myself and I haven't worried about, cooking for other people so much, I used to always buy a whole bird. And matter of fact, when I lived in Rhode Island, there was a farm right around the corner from us, and I used to go there and buy all of our chicken. Um, it's always more economical to buy a whole bird. The price per pound is lower, and then you just butcher it yourself. Cut it into the parts you like. But see, after the divorce, it was like, I really don't like breast as much as thigh, so I'm just buying packages of thighs. But now I'm back to buy the whole bird and cut it up because it's way more economical. And I use the main frame of the bird to make a really killer chicken soup base. And those tenderloins cook amazingly well in the air fryer. I don't have one in stock, but if I did go out and buy one, I would probably cut it into thirds because I'm just feeding me and I don't want to eat that for 3 days in a row. Oh, you know what? I should put this back on the refrigerator before I lose it. So $2.75. preheat 1 minute. 12 minutes for eggs right out at room temperature. 14 to 15 for straight out of the fridge. Into cold water, peel, and whatever you want to do with them. Oh, it is getting very dark, isn't it? It looks like we might end up being... Oh, we are on schedule. Matter of fact, we're early. The rain has begun. There's water on my windows. It's coming south, from the south. I was expecting it to be at 1 o'clock. They're still saying possible at 1 o'clock. It's not 1 o'clock. It's an hour earlier, just like I hoped. Next 48 hours, less than an inch of snow is expected. But today, 100% of rain, day and night. I hope you, like I, have taken care of all the external chores. Do you have off today? No, it'll be soon. Nope, that's not clean enough yet. This stuff is a bitch to get out of a hairbrush. Well, we'll double check you in a while. All right, so we got a little kitty. Oh, we gotta do a tree-like thing. Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Just got another green. Okay, we'll put the ornaments on with acrylic. Oh yeah. Well, my big chore after I eat lunch is I'm going to finally get to try out my new power scrubber in the bathroom. Been trying to get to it all week, and things have just been coming up and coming up, including a little exhaustion, but that's today's thing after I eat. And depending on the weather, how much light I have, I'll probably be back here at some point later. If not, I'll be back on Tuesday for sure. I'm so excited that we're going to get some snow. As long as I don't have to shovel it or shop in it, I'm a happy camper. I'm literally camping. Well, I'm going to be signing off in just a minute. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. Sunday is always the 10:30 to noon thing. Even though we're not doing meditations and all the stuff I used to do. I've considered getting back into that. But the problem is here where I live now versus where I used to live then, I used to be able to go months without ever hearing a siren. Since I've been here, I hear a siren almost every day. So those interrupt me, and they interrupt meditations, and I don't want anybody being in a nice blessed space, you know, and then have a horrible sound in the background just take you out of that. So I've really been rethinking my format for a while now. Well, you have a wonderful rest of the week, a weekend and week, and I'll be back Tuesday, absolutely. Unless we lose power, I will be here. Because what's more fun than sitting around with a cup of tea, cocoa, or coffee on a snowy day, getting all cozy. I might even do this show in my pajamas like I used to. You know, make it a snow day. Oh, Charlie, I was about to say goodbye. You came in just in time for me to say goodbye. Now I can't say goodbye. Well, it's almost 12, and I usually just do 10:30 to noon on Sundays, but I'll stay extra time for you. Come on, I'll hang with you for a few. Jessica, I know you've got stuff to attend to. I'm not pushing you off the show. If you want to loiter here as long as you want, you're welcome. But my grandson is here now. My Venezuelan grandson. I mean, Portuguese, I'm sorry. You drank. You drank. Do I have to come out there and slap you around? So, how you feeling? No, I know. I watched the news this morning. Venezuela's on my mind, where the U.S. has been committing murders in cold blood. And we are going to catch those people and prosecute them for their murders. It won't replace all those people that we've killed. I should say that Hegseth has killed. Now see, there we go. I don't want that in the middle of meditation. It's just too upsetting. Oh, good. I'm glad you have a good hangover. I don't want you to get drunk again. You know, it's safer to use alcohol over 40 years old, but while you're younger and still developing, it's foolish. It's not the escape we hope. Oh, well, a good excuse, isn't it? So you had dinner, and how did that go? Where? I mean, did you eat out, or was this at your place? Grandma wants to know. Much like last time at my place, great vibes. All right. Nice. So you guys sat and you talked, you drank too much. I'm assuming wine. Yeah, those kinds of things you need to check out beforehand on the internet. Operating hours. So cool. You had fun. You hung out. Does he know? Oh, cool. All right. Oh. That sounds like a good friendship is developing. Oh my. You are a trusting soul. That's how I lost most of my books. Trusting people with my books. All right, so you're going to go ahead and at least get that far. That's good. Independence Restoration Day? Ah, excellent. Say goodbye tomorrow. Aloha. What are you doing up? 6 in the morning. Say goodbye who? I'm not saying goodbye. I'll be back on Tuesday. I am meeting with my adopted son tomorrow for a movie. Online. He's out in St. Louis, so, you know. Oh, it's 7? Wait. It's only noon for me. What, do you not have daylight savings time? You lucky person. No wonder. You're lucky. I hate daylight savings time. I know so many people love it, but I would rather just live with the natural ebb and flow of the planet and keep making adjustments because some people get bummed out. Glenn suffered from SAD, seasonal affective syndrome, but he suffered from everything. But there's ways to deal with that. We installed grow lights in his bathroom because he had his own bathroom. And so whenever he spent his hour and a half in the bathroom, he had grow lights. He had daylight in the bathroom and he would feel better. Oh, don't worry, he'll borrow them from you later. No, when is he leaving? Back to Brazil. I've got this song stuck in my head, and I had heard the song in a modern version of Cinderella, the one with James Corden in it. He's leaving earlier than... Oh, no. Okay, well, that makes sense. Well, I'm glad that you are establishing a good relationship now so that you can remain friends over distance and time. So, what are you doing for the holidays? Going back with mom and pop? Oh. Oh. The 18th of this month. All right. Makes sense. So, are you going to visit your Nana? Wow. I hope so. I hope so. Good luck. I believe you can do it, honey. It's just a matter of lining up your desires with it. Oh, yeah. All right, well, at least you can be comfortable. I need a calendar. What day is the 1st? I can't read my calendar from here. I did realize when I changed the calendar, though, that I don't have one for next year. Let me just take a quick look. Okay, tomorrow is the 1st. Well, that makes it easy. You should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. 1st. Yeah, tomorrow. So let's see, that's gonna be Sunday, so this is gonna be Monday. Uh-oh. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay. My goodness. You can do better. Maybe not. I don't believe it. All right. Let's see if this works. I lost the battery down here. Look at that. There's 2 batteries for this little semi-useless thing. Are you freaking kidding me, guys? You fell apart in this mess? It's an all-day excursion venturing into this cup. It's a trick sleeve. What else fell down there? Ah, I have a use for you. But not you. Or you right now. Oh, that you don't belong there. Neither do you. No wonder it's hard to get things out of this. Alright, this is my happy cup. I love this cup, except it's way too big for me to use, so... And what were we doing here? Why am I coming back today? Well, I'm not sure. I have a major scrub job. Today's bathroom day. And I have this new cleaner, scrubber, electric, to do the tub. And I've been meaning to get to it all week, but one thing after another has gotten in my way, including things like laundry, cooking, and social things. But now I have Sunday, so I figured I'll go clean after my lunch. And if it wasn't too dark and rainy, I would come back here. Probably upside down. No, you did not. You stopped drinking coffee. Pourquoi? Pourquoi? Why? Oh, good for you. An apple a day will do better. There we go. All that. Because addiction is bad. Oh boy. Well, if you feel reliant on it for your alertness, it's definitely bad. If you just enjoy drinking it now and then, that's not a bad thing. Coffee is actually really good for your bowels, and they found that it can help prevent colorectal cancer. So coffee is not a demon, but being addicted to it in order to get your energy is a problem. So yeah, if you felt you needed to do it, congratulations. I only drink a cup if I go out to eat breakfast or lunch. And I have one every Friday morning with the creative group. Yeah, that's definitely not good. 2 cups a day is good for your bowels, but if it's feeling uncomfortable, then please don't. Listen to your inner being at all times. Not everybody is... It's not safe for everybody. That is a weird sound. And I can't tell where it went. I hope it didn't stop here. Two cups a day is actually good for you if you can tolerate it. Not everybody can. I can no longer do 2 cups a day. I can do, like I said, I do 1 cup every Friday, and occasionally I feel like my gastric system needs a jump, and I'll have a cup of coffee then. Aside from that, I'm a tea drinker now. It's easier on my gut. That's what made me change, was too much acid in the system. But the food and proper sleep, without those 2 things, it doesn't matter. You know, it's just going to wear down your body. Too much adrenaline moving through you. Oh, good. Well, this makes me happy, because that's all we want you to do, is be happy and not drink too much wine again. But at your age, that's probably going to happen again. That's a freaking lot. Wine is extremely sedative. Now, I am not a wine drinker. I never really got into wine. I did try, but then I seemed to develop an allergy to it one day, and the smell of it made me sick, and that was it. The next glass I had was champagne for my wedding, like good 15 years later. But now I can actually sip a little bit of a well-made white wine and be okay, a couple sips, but that's really literally where I stop. Despite the advertising, alcohol is bad for the liver. No matter what people say, every time you feel intoxicated, you are actually dying. Your cells are saying, "You're killing me! Alcohol doesn't work in my body." But the industry doesn't want you to know that. America actually took off their guidelines about drinking because the bourbon sellers were suffering when Canada kicked out the liquor industry. So, American industry. Yeah, that's not a good thing. You set yourself up for that. But then you'll remember it, and you will probably not overindulge the next opportunity. You'll use a little restraint. But that's not bad, honey. It's like, what, this is only the 2nd time you've been inebriated? And you're already 20? Well, that's sometimes making yourself vomit when you feel like that is the best thing you can do, and get rid of all the excess stuff. You'll still have your buzz, but you will get rid of the excess bile that's building up in your stomach from that, or too empty a stomach. You got to do it the Italian way. Pasta. Make sure you have a good pasta dinner and then have your wine. See, I'm very vomit resistant. I do not want to puke. I'll do everything to avoid it. But I learned accidentally that actually that's your body saying, I can know what to do. Get rid of it. And you let it out, and then you feel better. I do understand why you wouldn't want to, especially with a friend there, but nevertheless, your health comes first. I know it's very time consuming, and I hate that about it, but I am learning to love it because I have become a much better cook. My food is so much cheaper and healthier that I'm really proud of my journey in the kitchen. But I totally understand, because there are some days that my friend calls and she says, "What are you doing?" I said, I'm cooking. And she said, "You're always cooking." I said, "Well, it takes a while to cook healthy food." It is the truth. But I'm not going to make a step backward. I have a few things around that I can cook up fast if I'm feeling lazy. Like I got some Pizza Hot Pocket things. So if I'm really desperate, 15 minutes, I got a little something to eat. But it's so fast and easy to make other things that are healthier. It's just a matter of what you've got around. If you're prepared for it, it does work. Well, that's why you have to have shortcuts. Now you're in a position where you can't use your air fryer in your room, which sucks because that could save you so much time in cooking. You can set it, forget it, and it beeps when it's done and you go and eat, you know. But if you can't do that, then yeah, you got to go in the kitchen and then there's the cleanup. So I would suggest that while you're in school and you need to cook for yourself, at least shorten some of that by using paper plates. Believe me, I don't usually suggest anything but reusable. It's not good for the environment or the economy, but if you're that stretched, it's much better to use that time cooking a healthy meal and taking the shortcut in the cleanup. You have a heavy load, but you have to feed your brain while it's developing, which is why we have our scholastic stuff backward. What they make doctors go through, it should be outlawed. Honestly, it's a terrible thing what they do to medical students, the pressure on them, the time constraints. They pop. They usually end up, you think you had a bottle of wine, that was a lot for you. They have parties that blow away parties because they build up so much pressure and they lose so much sleep and they have all of this energy that's got to be expressed and then they overdo it and get sick. So yeah, you have to actually sit down and look at what do you like to eat, what can be prepared in advance so it makes it really simple and fast when it's time to cook. Um, it's a trade-off, you know. You need healthy food to keep your brain and body going, or it's going to be a lot harder to study. You will lose concentration from not having enough of the right nutrients. So yeah, it's kind of important. But knowing shortcuts is invaluable. Well, I actually am up in the air about that. I put aside a serving of soup. It's in the freezer. So I've been thinking about popping that out and putting it in the microwave and making instant soup. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so sorry he's going away. What a shitty thing to happen after you finally found somebody that you're really simpatico with. I know, we do love soup, and I make some damn good soups. I have impressed myself recently. Now, I really was happy with the 2 batches of lentil soup I did. I used a ham hock, like a pig knuckle or something. I forget what they are. It's a ham hock. Anyways, doesn't have very much meat, but it flavors the broth really nicely. Um, so I used that to help season the broth. And oh, that's right. I'm defrosting a ham hock, a smoked ham hock right now in the freezer. I mean the refrigerator, so I can make a batch of soup. But I put up this lentil soup. I put a little serving aside for myself and put it in the freezer. And a couple days ago, it's like, oh yeah, and I popped it out and I heated it up, and it was like, this is so good. It blows away anything canned I have ever had in my life. It even blows away other people's cooking. I was so proud of that soup. So now that I know I'm good at that, I will be making it more frequently. That was lentils. I value the time we move on. Plus, oh yeah, I know. I know. Well, although that sounds sad, it is the way of life. People come and go, and yeah, that's just the way it is. Look, I wish I could promise I'd be here forever, but I know that won't happen. I mean, I am, but not the same way like I am right now. You'll have to talk to me in your head, which is not a depressing thing once you learn how to do it. It's really good. This You suck. That was such a waste of money. This one's better. Coffee talk. What is going on? Doc got some coffee. He's up. It's coffee with a K. K-A-W-F-E-E. Coffee talk. You gotta say it like a New Yorker. All right, I have to make this some color, but what am I gonna do? I don't have silver. I guess blue will have to do. Now the good thing about what I'm doing is the pencil that I did the writing in is not going to be water soluble, but the color I put around it will be. So let's see what I can do with that now. Where's my little brush? My little brush. Oh yeah. Well, I guess you got to get your computer back online. Get rid of the virus. My poor friend, I couldn't do anything about the virus in her pad. I told her where to go. I told her who could fix it for her, because I can't do anything with laptops or pads. I only can work on a desktop computer, a tower. That I know how to work on. Or did. So she ended up buying another pad because the virus made it impossible to connect to the internet without it immediately draining her battery. Well, look, Doc, you're the guy that is always talking love, love, love while you're killing them, which I find hilarious. Of course you're missed. You're one of the champions. If they beat you, they have done something. AI told you it can help me work on the computer. Oh yeah, I can. Yeah. I strongly recommend that you add a program to protect your computer beyond Windows, like a bleach bit, so you can delete little invaders every day. Or, yeah, there's some other things out there. Oh, that's kind of bland. We need to put a little color in that. A little beige. I didn't think love comment would take off, but look what happened. Isn't that the most important thing in the world? You got that vibe out there, man. Like, of course they miss you. What's usually on the internet? What is usually in the area of gamers? Racism, hate, attacks, trolling. It's like typical crap. And you go and inject something like love into that situation, damn straight you'll be missed. Only reason people ever relate to all that crap stuff is when they're full of anger and angst, and usually when they're young and stupid. They don't know how to handle their emotions yet, so it comes out in negative ways. They don't have good parenting to help them sort through things. All right. Well, that doesn't look very... We need to highlight or a shadow. Let's have a shadow. Oh, Charlie, what I started to say is the song. You're on Well, don't buy anything until after the 3rd. Amazon is the biggest ripoff, but you're stuck on an island, so you don't have as many options. But Amazon ups the price of everything. And people think they're getting bargains. They're fucking you over, okay? There's no such thing as a deal on Amazon. That's why they're being sued, and there's going to be a big payout for all the people they ripped off. Just over Prime. Yeah. Okay, Charlie. Are you familiar with the Phantom of the Opera music? Like at least one song that made it really big out of that was da da la 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 la. Hey, I've been listening to this song from Cinderella, the new Cinderella, which is more of a pro-feminine thing. Instead of waiting for the prince, you get out on your own. Well, there's this one song that Idina Menzel sings. Oh God, what's it called? Disney produced it. No, Amazon produced it, actually. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I've been listening to that song. I love the song, the dynamic of it done not in the movie, outside of the movie. It was a promotional video where Idina Menzel sings the song, but even better than what's in the movie. Well, I'm listening and I found myself singing parts of the Phantom of the Opera, and I wanted to know if you're familiar with one, you can listen to the other one and see if you picked that up. Because I was like, wait a second, that is a Phantom of the Opera right there. Let's see. I don't know if Bury It is the right name, but if you do a YouTube search on Idina and Bury It, you'll probably come up with the right song. Because there's only one Idina Menzel and only one song about burying it. Anyway, I love that song, and the dynamic is really strong, so like I love dancing to it, or exercising to it, I should say. So I've been listening to it, and I get things stuck in my head. I stay on a song for a month, well, at least a couple of weeks, play it endlessly until it's like the rhythm is ingrained in the brain. So I was listening to that one when I found the new copy of it. It was like, oh, I love this song. This is a killer freaking song. But then when they redid it, did the promo of it, it was even better than the way they did it in the movie. Yes, that's it. It's her on stage in a big sound studio, or it looks like a hairline. It's a big studio, and she's got a few women playing behind her. That's the version. Bury it, carry it, bury it, marry it, carry it. Oh, it's a great song. All right. I appreciate that. All right. Blue. Oh crap! I should have made an outline while I still have that. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're just going to sign it and mail it. After I write a note on the back tomorrow morning. So, little kitty for my friend. I can't believe that she is 98 years old. Now, I want to do something for my stepfather. He is not Christian, so there would not be any trees. So what could I do to make him laugh? Yeah, although I have that soup, it will only take a few minutes to prepare. I have had a craving for some spicy pasta. So I might have to make that my dinner tonight. Because I got my arrabbiata sauce, and I certainly have enough pasta. It didn't remind me of anything at first. But then I was hearing the melody, I was like, wait a second. All right, but you didn't hear it. To me, it became extremely obvious, but I think that phrase that I found in common with Phantom is also used more frequently than not. Oh, Nightwish. Hmm. That one, I saw it in LA. It was wonderful. I got to see it with, oh God, what was his name? Robert Guillaume. And he got shitty reviews for one performance, but when I attended, it was perfect. So it's like, what are you giving him shit for? Because he's black? You don't like it? The white mask and the black face? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Oh, whoa, okay. Yeah, I don't know them. Well, I am getting hungry. I'm 45 minutes past my lunchtime. I guess I will have soup. It's fastest. So, all right. Oh, it's raining. I love the rain. After I eat, I'm going to scrub the bathroom up. Depending on how long it takes and how much it hurts, I am planning on trying to get back here. So I'm not going to sing to you yet. You're going to be up for a while, and so am I. So Maui aloha. Time for a fresh cup of tea. Time for food and not a snack. Although this turned out to be very tasty. Crunchy peanut butter in a chewy base. It was pretty good. You're going to the garden. If I'm back, I'll sing to you. But in the meantime, do what I would do. Go eat. I'll see you later. Have fun in the